Welcome. Today we are going to learn listening for specific information. Listening is an important communication tool. Listening is hearing with intention, and the development of listening skill hold the key to effective communication. Listening is a voluntary and serious activity. If you can be a good listener, you can talk well. There are few listening challenges you may be facing. Let's check it. Listening challenges. There are many difficulties you may face in understanding a talk, lecture, or conversation in a second language. Here the second language means English. The cause of these difficulties may be from the speaker's side, like the speaker is talking very quickly, so you are not able to follow. This may be the reason, or the situation, like background noise, and maybe lack of visual clue, or limited vocabulary, and maybe lack of knowledge of the topic, and inability to distinguish individual sounds. To overcome these difficulties, we need some skills. So, shall we try together to achieve the listening skill? The first one is predicting content. Before listening a lecture or a news report or a conversation, you can predict. You can try to predict what you are going to hear. When you are trying to predict the topic of a talk or a conversation, all the related vocabulary stored in your brains will be activated to help you to understand the context, what you are listening to. Depending on the context, you can often predict the kind of words and style of language the speaker will be using. For example, imagine you have just turned on your TV. You see a man in a suit standing in front of a large map with the symbols of a sun, clouds, and thunder. What do you imagine he is about to tell you? Most likely, this is going to be a weather forecast. You can expect to hear words like sunny, windy, and overcast. You will probably hear the use of future tense, like it will be a cold start to the day, and there will be a showers in the afternoon, etc. I would like to give an exercise for you to practice predicting content. Watch or listen to a recorded TV program or clip from YouTube. Pause after every few sentences and try to predict what is going to happen or what the speaker might say next. Try it now. Okay? The second one is listening for gist. The gist is defined as the most important pieces of information about something or general information without details. Listening for gist is when you try to understand what is happening even if you can't understand every phrase or sentence. For example, words like food, friends, fun, park, and sunny day have their own meanings, right? But when you hear the same words in sequence, they help you to understand the context. Can you guess the context here? Food, fun, friends, park, and sunny day. Here the context may be about a picnic, right? Like that, you have to practice. I'll give you a task to practice listening for just. Find a short video with subtitles on a topic that you are interested. Use the subtitle to predict the content. And then listen to the content words. Go back and listen again with the subtitles. How much did you understand the first time? Return to the video a week later and try again. Third one is listening for details. Here you have to narrow down your search to get the details you needed. So you are listening for a special purpose, or you are narrowing down your search to get the details you needed. For example, in a listening test, if you are asked to write down the age of a person, listen for the words related to age or a number that could represent that person's age. If it is a conversation, you might wait to hear someone beginning a question with how old. That is listening for details. Do the following tasks to practice listening for details. Decide on a type of detailed information you want to practice listening for details, and to watch programs where you would expect it to get that information. For example, you could listen to a weather report to get details about weather, or you could follow the sports news to find out the latest results. The fourth one is inferring meaning. Inferring meaning is using clues and prior knowledge about a situation to work out the meaning of what you hear. For example, imagine you are a tourist in a country and you don't know to speak their language. And now you are in a restaurant. You try to pay the bill using a credit card. But the server seems to say something apologetic in response. Even though you don't understand his words. Because you don't know their language, right? You don't know to speak their language. So you didn't understand what he is saying or what he said. And even though you didn't understand his words, you can probably conclude that the restaurant does not take credit cards and you need to pay with cash instead. Similarly, you can infer the relationship between people from the words they use without having to find out directly. Shall we try one conversation to infer the relationship between people? Listen to the situation and guess. Tom, did you do your homework? I did, sir. But the dog ate it. That's terrible excuse. You will never pass your exam if you don't work hard. Here, from this conversation, we can conclude as this conversation is between a student and his teacher. How we can come to this conclusion? From the words homework and exam. So from these two words, we can reach the conclusion that this conversation is between a teacher and a student. Hope